Hello everyone. Welcome to the Life Lessons channel, a place where we share Buddhist philosophies to help you find peace and happiness in life. Have you ever felt anger burning inside you? These negative emotions can destroy relationships and harm ourselves. However, if we know how to manage it, anger can transform into the power of love and compassion. Let's explore how to transform anger according to Buddhist philosophy in today's video. According to Buddhist teachings, anger is one of the three poisons of the mind: desire, anger, and ignorance. The Buddha teaches that anger not only harms others but also pollutes our own soul. It is a fire that burns away inner peace and traps us in the cycle of suffering. However, the Buddha also pointed out that anger is not a permanent state. It can be transformed if we learn to recognize it and practice mindfulness. When anger arises, the most important thing is not to react immediately. Take a deep breath, pause, and observe your feelings. Buddhism advises us to view anger as a cloud passing through the sky. It will not last forever if we do not cling to it. By being aware of our emotions, we can calm our minds and create space for love to emerge. Moreover, the Buddha teaches that compassion is the most powerful weapon to transform anger. When we practice compassion, we put ourselves in others' shoes and understand that they are also suffering. This empathy helps dissolve anger and build connections rather than divisions. Remember that every action comes from conditions, and understanding the causes will help us cultivate forgiveness and love. In this video, we will delve into specific methods to control and transform anger. From practicing mindfulness, loving-kindness meditation, to changing our perspective. These lessons will help you use negative emotions as a tool to nurture your spirit and develop wisdom. Don't let anger control your life, turn it into strength to love and build happiness. Part 1: Recognizing anger. What is anger? In Buddhism, anger is considered one of the three poisons of the mind: greed, anger, and ignorance, that lead to suffering. Anger is a negative mental state that arises from feelings of dissatisfaction, rage, or resentment towards others or oneself. It is like a fire that burns the mind, causing us to lose peace and make poor decisions. The Buddha teaches that anger not only destroys inner peace but also leads to actions that create negative karma. If left unchecked, anger can ruin relationships, cause division, and prolong suffering. However, Buddhism does not encourage suppressing or denying this emotion. Instead, it guides us to recognize and transform it into positive energy. Why do we feel anger? Anger often arises from hurt. When we feel betrayed, insulted, or disrespected, we can easily fall into a state of anger as a defense mechanism. Disappointment, unmet expectations, or feelings of helplessness in a situation can also trigger anger. Fear, anxiety, or insecurity about the future can cause people to react with anger to mask their inner vulnerability. Possessiveness and control, when our desire to control others or situations is thwarted. Anger arises from clinging and attachment. For example, when someone insults you, feelings of being belittled or unfairly treated can lead to anger. However, this anger does not exist on its own. It is a result of thoughts about that insult. Buddhism emphasizes that anger is not a fixed trait but a temporary state that can be transformed. Recognizing anger, the first step to transformation. The Buddha teaches that anger can only be resolved if we begin by recognizing it. Recognition does not mean judgment or suppression. It means observing anger with a mindful attitude. Be aware that anger is an emotional state that comes and goes, like clouds in the sky. Observe your mood. When anger arises, ask yourself, where is this emotion coming from? What is its cause? Recognizing the source of anger helps us understand ourselves better. Practice mindfulness. The Buddha encourages practicing mindfulness to focus on the present and clearly recognize the anger that is occurring without letting it dictate our actions. Identify the reaction mechanism. Usually, When we are angry, we react with immediate words or actions. Recognizing this can help us pause and avoid causing further harm to others. Lessons from Buddhist teachings on anger. Buddhism views anger as a lesson to help us cultivate compassion and patience. Here are some important lessons. Patience is strength, in the Dhammapada. The Buddha teaches, the one who conquers anger is the strongest. This emphasizes the power of restraint and tolerance. Patience is not weakness. It is self-control to avoid being dominated by emotions. Anger is an internal enemy. The Buddha highlights that the internal enemy is more dangerous than external foes. Anger is a fire that destroys the soul if we cannot control it. Compassion is the key to transforming anger. The Buddha advises that when facing anger, we should cultivate compassion. Reflect on the pain of those who anger us and place ourselves in their position to empathize. Impermanence and letting go. All emotions, including anger, are impermanent. Recognizing the temporary nature of anger makes it easier to let go rather than cling to it. Practicing anger management according to Buddhism. Mindfulness meditation. Sitting meditation is an effective method to calm the mind and reduce negative emotions. When meditating, focus on your breath and observe your emotions objectively. Loving kindness meditation. Send blessings and love to those who anger you. This helps nurture compassion and dissipate anger. Reflect on the consequences, before reacting to anger. Think about the potential consequences of your words or actions. This creates the necessary pause to respond more wisely. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness not only frees others from their mistakes but also liberates ourselves from psychological burdens. Transform energy, instead of letting anger control you. Use that energy to promote positive actions, such as helping others or engaging in charitable work. Thus, recognizing anger is the first step to transforming this emotion into compassion and love. Through mindfulness and the practice of the Buddha's teachings, we can manage our anger and turn it into a strength for personal growth. Don't let anger destroy you, learn to master it to find true peace and happiness. Part 2, Accepting and Observing Emotions. Accepting anger, non-judgment. Buddhism teaches that to transform anger, we must first accept its presence without judgment. This means that instead of avoiding or denying negative emotions, we need to face them honestly. Anger is not inherently bad, it is simply a part of the human psyche. Recognizing this helps us reduce fear and approach this emotion with calmness. Step back, observe as an outsider. When anger arises, the Buddha advises us to step back and observe the emotion. This is like standing outside and watching a fire instead of rushing into it. View anger as a passing cloud in the sky of your mind. Don't try to push it away immediately, as the more you resist, the stronger it may become. Instead, maintain your calm and let it pass naturally. Buddhism calls this method introspective contemplation. You become an observer of your own emotions, not attaching or identifying yourself with the anger. This helps create a safe distance between you and the negative emotion, minimizing the chances of impulsive reactions. Practicing mindfulness to identify anger. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for managing emotions. By practicing mindfulness, you focus on the present moment without judgment. This helps you recognize anger as it starts to form, rather than letting it explode out of control. Steps to practice mindfulness when facing anger. Stop and breathe deeply. When you notice feelings of anger rising, stop all actions and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly to calm your mind. Observe the emotion, ask yourself, where is this anger coming from? What is triggering me? This questioning helps you separate yourself from the emotion and prevents it from controlling your actions. Name the emotion. The Buddha teaches that when we label our emotions, for example, this is anger, it loses its overwhelming power and becomes easier to manage. Practice letting go. Remind yourself that this emotion is temporary and will pass if you don't cling to it. Real-life example, applying in life. Imagine you have been seriously insulted by someone. Your initial reaction may be a surge of anger and a desire to retaliate immediately. However, if you apply the lessons from Buddhism, you would breathe deeply to maintain calm. Remind yourself that the person insulting you is also suffering, acting from their own pain. Observe the feeling of anger arising and ask, is this really important enough to disrupt my peace? Let go of the anger and focus on compassion for the other person. Lessons from Buddhism on observing emotions. Do not identify with emotions. The Buddha teaches that emotions are only a small part of the human experience, not our true nature. When we realize this, we become less caught up in our emotions. Use emotions as learning tools. Every emotion is a lesson. Anger can teach us about patience, compassion, and forgiveness if we know how to observe it. Practice compassion for yourself, sometimes. Anger results from self-blame and a lack of self-love. Buddhism encourages us to treat ourselves gently and accept our flaws as part of being human. Let go of attachments. The Buddha emphasizes that all emotions are impermanent. Understanding this nature allows us to more easily release negative emotions without clinging to them. Practicing transforming anger into compassion. Loving-kindness meditation. Sit in meditation and send good wishes to yourself, the person who angered you, and all beings. For example, may I be at peace. May that person also be at peace. Journaling emotions, writing down your thoughts and feelings when angry can help you see the issues more clearly. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting mistakes, it means freeing yourself from emotional burdens. Acting with compassion, use the energy of anger to do something good. Like helping others or contributing to the community. Accepting and observing emotions is a crucial step in the journey of transforming anger into compassion. Instead of reacting impulsively, learn to stop, observe, and understand your emotions. Practicing mindfulness and compassion will help us maintain inner peace and live a more meaningful life in the spirit of Buddhism. Part 3, Transforming Anger into Compassion according to Buddhist Teachings. In life, everyone experiences feelings of anger when they are hurt or treated unfairly. However, according to Buddhist teachings, anger is one of the three poisons, the three unwholesome roots, greed, hatred, and delusion, that cloud the mind and prevent true happiness. Therefore, transforming anger into compassion not only frees us from suffering but also brings inner peace and tranquility. Here are methods to practice transforming anger into compassion based on the teachings of the Buddha. Contemplating causes and conditions. Understanding causes and contexts. Buddhism emphasizes that every action is the result of causes and conditions. When someone hurts you, they may also be suffering from past pain or current circumstances. Understanding this helps us avoid judgment and nurture empathy. For example, when someone insults you, pause and reflect. What pain might this person have experienced to behave this way? This question broadens your perspective and reduces resentment. Practicing contemplation of cause and effect. The Buddha taught that every action carries karmic consequences. When treated unfairly, remember that it may be the result of past karma you have created. This is not about blaming yourself but reminding you of the responsibility to create good karma in the present to resolve negative karma. Cultivating compassion. Nurturing a compassionate heart. Compassion, karuna, is the ability to empathize and wish to alleviate the suffering of others. The Buddha encourages everyone to practice loving-kindness meditation, metta, to cultivate compassion. A simple practice. Sit comfortably in meditation. Recite, "May I be peaceful, happy, and free from suffering." Then, extend this loving kindness to others, including those who have harmed you. May they be peaceful, happy, and free from suffering. Understanding that everyone seeks happiness. Buddhism teaches that every action, whether good or bad, stems from the desire for happiness. Recognizing this makes it easier to open our hearts and forgive, as everyone is seeking joy in their own way, even if they sometimes go astray. Forgiveness. Freeing yourself. Forgiveness does not mean condoning wrongdoing or forgetting past hurts. Forgiveness is an act of freeing yourself from the bondage of resentment. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal to throw at someone else. You are the one who gets burned first. Practicing forgiveness through meditation. A practice. Visualize the person who has hurt you. Acknowledge the feelings of anger that arise without judgment. Recite, I release this anger. I choose forgiveness to free myself. Continue this practice until the feelings lighten. Over time, this practice will help your heart become more open and peaceful. Changing perspectives. Turning anger into motivation. Anger can be transformed into motivation to better oneself and help others. When faced with hurt, view it as an opportunity to cultivate patience and develop compassion. For example, instead of reacting with anger, you might choose to respond calmly and kindly, setting an example for others. This action not only helps you maintain peace but also creates a positive impact on those around you. Seeing the one who causes harm as a teacher. The Buddha taught that those who harm us can be our most valuable teachers. They help us see our limitations and learn how to overcome them. By accepting this lesson, we can more easily let go of anger and nurture gratitude. Transforming anger into compassion is a process that requires persistent practice and an open mind. Through contemplating causes and conditions, cultivating compassion, practicing forgiveness, and changing perspectives, we can not only resolve negative emotions but also develop wisdom and boundless love. The Buddha taught that compassion is the key to true peace and happiness. By applying these methods in daily life, we gradually free ourselves from suffering and bring harmony to ourselves and the world around us. Remember that peace and happiness always begin from within. Practicing the transformation of anger is the path to awakening the heart of love and expanding compassion toward all beings. Part 4. Applying Buddhist teachings to transform anger into love. Buddhism not only provides theories on transforming negative emotions but also emphasizes practical practices to create change in our lives. Here are methods to apply mindfulness and compassion to calm the mind and transform anger according to the teachings of the Buddha. 1. Mindfulness exercises. Meditation for 10 minutes each day. Mindfulness is at the core of Buddhist teachings, helping us live in the present and clearly recognize our emotions. Sitting in meditation for 10 minutes each day is a simple yet highly effective practice to calm the mind and reduce anger. Mindfulness meditation instructions. Sit comfortably with a straight back. Gently close your eyes and focus on your breath. When your mind wanders or angry thoughts arise, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Do not judge your emotions. Simply observe them objectively. Regular practice will enhance your ability to remain calm and respond with compassion in challenging situations. 2. Keeping an emotion journal. Self-analyzing the roots of emotions. Writing an emotion journal is a powerful tool to help you understand the sources of your anger. The Buddha taught that anger arises from ignorance and attachment. By recording your feelings, you can identify negative thoughts and mistaken beliefs that lead to anger. How to keep a journal. Write down the situation or words that made you angry. Analyze why it upset you. Ask yourself, where does this emotion come from? Am I exaggerating the issue? Write down how you could handle the situation with compassion. This practice will help you view your emotions more objectively and develop forgiveness. 3. Sharing and communication. Releasing emotions through calm speech. Buddhism encourages mindful communication to peacefully resolve conflicts. Instead of keeping feelings bottled up, expressing your thoughts calmly will help alleviate your mood and prevent misunderstandings. Mindful communication techniques. Take deep breaths before speaking to maintain calmness. Use gentle language and avoid blaming. Instead of saying, "You made me angry," say, "I feel hurt when this happens." Listen without interrupting or reacting hastily. Through this practice, you will create a positive communication environment and foster mutual understanding. 4. Cultivating self-love. Nurturing self-esteem. According to Buddhist teachings, self-love is the foundation for developing compassion for others. When you learn to appreciate yourself, you will find it easier to forgive and treat those around you with kindness. Practicing self-love. Spend time caring for yourself through meditation, exercise, and proper rest. Read positive teachings from the Buddha to nurture your spirit. Remind yourself that you deserve love and happiness. Practice gratitude for what you have to generate positive energy. Transforming anger into compassion is a journey that requires patience and consistent practice. Through practical applications like mindfulness meditation, keeping an emotion journal, calm communication, and self-love, we can gradually reduce negative emotions and nurture a peaceful soul. The Buddha taught that a compassionate heart is the foundation for lasting happiness. By practicing these exercises, you will not only free yourself from suffering but also bring peace to the world around you. Remember that all change begins from within. And mindfulness is the key to achieving true liberation and serenity. Conclusion. Anger is not an enemy but a teacher if we learn to listen and transform it. Through the practice of mindfulness and compassion, we can turn negative emotions into the strength to love and connect more deeply with others. Buddhism emphasizes that all emotions are valuable signals that help us understand ourselves and the world around us. Instead of fighting against anger, let us use it as an opportunity to cultivate compassion and patience. When we view anger through the lens of awareness, it will gradually dissipate, making way for peace and happiness. Practical exercises like meditation, keeping an emotion journal, and mindful communication are useful tools for applying Buddhist teachings in daily life. They help us free ourselves from the burdens of negative emotions and move toward a serene and loving existence. Remember, transforming anger is not a process that happens overnight. It requires patience and regular practice. However, the reward is a tranquil mind and a heart filled with compassion. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss valuable lessons from applied Buddhism. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next videos.